Good evening to everybody.
Good evening, sir.
You are welcome back to our sessions. I thank Obed for the recap. I'm very happy that you have been able to display that most of you have studied, and it seems you have been going over what you taught. And I also realized that Dr. Kafudazi also covered some of the things that we mentioned, especially to do with what data is. And I think we were sharing the same idea that data depends on who is interpreting it. I remember I mentioned that when you go to airport shell and go and buy something, the data, the receipt they give you may be information to you, but the details on it are the data that generates as information so that you know what you purchased. But when we put all those receipts together to know what was sold in that particular shop, it can also become data and at another point become information depending on the regional manager or the manager of the place. So whoever interprets it also has to have some literacy and in understanding what the information are given to him or her, and then also be able to make it relevant, make meaningful connections with it. Usually when you make meaningful connection with data at a given context, for a given action, we call it knowledge. Later, I think if there's time, I will talk about the differences and how we use them in organizations. Okay. Okay, so thank you very much. I'm very glad because most of you have demonstrated that you were paying attention in class. I don't know whether you thought there would be a test today because the answers, unless you are reading for my slides. If you're not reading for my slides, then you have done very, very well. I'm very happy about that. Okay, so today we will delve into the basic principles of information security, which someone mentioned from the Oracle definition last week, and the evolution of data security threats and the data lifecycle. That one, Dr. Eric Afidaza has done it already, so we will try to link it with the principles. So that's why we'll be looking at data lifecycle. So we'll link it to the principles. Okay, so that will be chapter 2 of the book will be in next. Hopefully by the 21st. If there's a delay, I'll let you know. But next week at least, I know that you have it for you to be able to pick a copy. Okay. Now, so I will look at the basic principle of information security, the types of data security threats, and most of the types, most of the common ones that we looked about 3 last week, but we'll look at some in detail. And what I'm very happy is that one lady mentioned that something about malware, and I was very happy because today we'll have discussions on malware. Now, come to this class with a very open mind and also interact with me because the way the field of security is, it's always evolving. So sometimes I even pick up things from you, the students, as we engage. So I want you to take the class more as a discussion, more than just he has got some text and he's going to tell us this is the finality of knowledge. And if you don't take it, it's not knowledge. I want you to know that as we are co-creating the knowledge as we sit in the class. Okay. So the basic principles. So last week we learned that there are some principles that govern data information security definition, and we'll talk about it. But we also talked about the definition of information security, and we said that it's a broader discipline that deals with the protection of information access, which could be in a digital form or otherwise. So somebody even give an example about that. So it can cover paper, so that the paper contains some data and some information. We have to try and also secure it. The data security is a subset of information security. Whilst information security covers a wide range of assets, data security focuses specifically on the digital data that we may come across. But the other technologies that we discussed last week are more closely linked to information security, like data governance, data protection, which we'll be doing next week, but focus more on the management, the handling, the rights associated with data. Okay, I have some reports on data governance in Africa. So later on, I'll share it with you so that you can read it. Obed, if you remember the report that we wrote for the one we launched in Ghana concerning
the Nigeria one.
Nigeria, yeah. I've even got data governance, winners and losers in data governance in Africa, something like that. Yeah. So you can share it on the platform so that you can read it towards some of our discussions in the future. Okay. So there are 3 principles: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And these principles tend to underpin how we see information. But so far as data security is part of information security, if these are the principles of information security, then the digital data we are going to deal with is also going to be the principles that will govern the security of those data. So we have here confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And can somebody try to tell me what he thinks confidentiality will refer to, just in your mind? Then we check what I wrote. Please go ahead. Oh, but I can't see. I'm now okay. So I've seen Godfred. I've seen Abigail. Abigail can go ahead. Ladies first. I've seen Mariam too.
Okay, so in terms of confidentiality, the word means in confidence. So it's something that is, you say, is secret or is very private that only a select group of people know. So if data has to be confidential, then it should only be available, or only the people that are supposed to know about it should have access or know about it.
Okay, that's a very good. That's a very good point. And let me see whether Mariam has a different view. So Abigail can put down.
I mean, it's not far from what Abigail said, but I think from my understanding, just like what confidential means, if information is confidential, it means that it's not supposed to be for everybody, but a selected few or people who should have access to it, or people who have a right to view the information, or who have the right to use that information. So yeah, just to add to what she said.
Okay, Godfred, ask and bring your hand and now ask a question, a very practical question that is happening in the class right now. Yes, Godfred.
Okay, thank you. So data confidentiality, I think, is protecting personal data or other organizational data from unauthorized access and disclosure without permission, or maybe if somebody's trying to steal it, sort of, yeah.
Okay, so we are in a Zoom class. And some of you are not showing any picture. Some of you are showing some pictures. Some of you are showing your face. Some of you are showing some animal. And some of you are just showing your name. So those of you are showing just names and stuff. Is it about confidentiality? That's why you are hiding it, or is it about privacy? It's a practical question I'm asking. Or it's about, I don't feel like doing it today. So it has nothing to do with what is happening. Godfrey, you want to go? Okay. Yes.
I think it is more about privacy as compared to confidentiality, although it's quite synonymous, but it is much more about privacy.
Why are you saying it's about privacy? Okay, in this sense, what does privacy mean? Use this scenario to explain what you mean by privacy.
So with this scenario, let's say I might put my picture there. I don't know who is out there who would want to take my picture for unauthorized use without my permission, because per data privacy governance, it has to be legal and ethical for someone to use your personal information.
Okay, so Godfrey said that the lecturer is teaching and he wants to know whether the students are paying attention. Sometimes somebody is lying in his bed and sleeping, somebody is doing banku and eating. So for class participation, the lecturer tells you that all of you put on your video. In case if data was not a problem, I'm just saying if data was not a problem, all of you put on your video. Is it breaching your confidentiality? Remember that you sign up to the course.
Yeah. So I think you have a point there, but like we also signed up with University of Ghana Business School, knowing too all that the organization is under the Data Protection Commission. So whatever information that, let's say, we put out there to UGBS, if in the interim it's been leaked out, they will know who to hold accountable for such data breach.
But you know the ethics of coming to class, that the lecturer would expect you to be. In fact, if you read the University of Ghana e-learning policy, there is etiquette for being online. You're supposed to be appropriately dressed. You're supposed to be not be unkempt. Be in a place that you are comfortable and allowed to show your face, so that you can engage, so that teaching can take place. So if you want to insist on the university rules, it will then become very difficult for some of the students to put it off. Anyway, I'm just saying that because of the fact that recently an issue came. You know, when we record the class video, I have a YouTube page that I put the video on so that students can look at it. But my YouTube page is actually being viewed by University of Notre Dame, people in Russia and all those kind of stuff, because students across, even Ghanaian and Zimbabwean students and everything, follow people academics. So they go and read about their teaching and what they have taught today. Especially one of the courses I teach in research methods, students follow it a lot. Now, here's where I put the video there, and somebody was walking, his husband or something was walking wearing boxer shorts in the back. So now I was forced to that every time I'm putting a video, they have to try and, as much as possible, edit them and check that I will not compromise anybody or break the privacy of what. Ideally, I think the lecturer in logging on should read the rules of engagement in the class, that you're supposed to be. If you want to show your video, make sure you are in an appropriate place, and you have the permissions of the people who are in your environment to show them, and this and that other information. But we take it for granted, and they say, "Oh, send the video to us." But you have to be very, very careful. I mean, sometimes there's another issue of where this is just a joke, but it's a part of a joke. But it happened that somebody was seeing somebody in the class. They didn't know that the person was going to visit the other person while we were in the class. So in the video, you see that this person and this person are sitting together in the person's house and they are listening to a lecture. And it becomes another big issue, which we didn't even know that it had other implications to another person in the class. So some of these things are very, very interesting, but it comes up. It comes up. Does anybody has a view on it before I move on? Hello? Okay, I don't see any hand. Oh, but do you see any hand?
No problem. No problem.
Okay, you don't see any hand. Okay, good.
Okay, I think Paulina has.
Paulina, yeah, okay.
Okay, mine is on the confidentiality.
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier on that I work with ECG, and when somebody is applying for a meter, the person gives, as part of filling the form, we take a lot of personal information from the customer before we give the meter. Now, we having access to that information, I think we have to keep it confidential and not give it out to anybody who is interested just because we can, because the customer gave us those information in confidence.
That's a good point. But I'll come back to you. I'll use an example from Tesco. When I finish explaining, and I ask you the same very question in a different way. Is there any point that too much information is not good, about knowing too much of the customer or using too much of the information to help the customer is not good?
Yeah,
okay,
sometimes we realize that some of the information we take are even not necessary, but because we've already prepared the form, we still take it anyway. But we never use it we never use them. Yeah.
Okay. Confidentiality ensures that the data is accessible only to those who have the right to view it. And I think it confirms what Paulina and then Mariam and Godfrey have told us this evening. For example, medical records are kept confidential so that only healthcare providers and patients can access them. Unauthorized disclosure could lead to blackmail, discrimination, actually, which is very true, and other negative consequences. But when you talk about integrity, it ensures that the data remains accurate and consistent over its entire life cycle. This is where someone was talking about alteration, free from unauthorized or unintended alteration, which actually may change the meaning of the data or the intent of the data. Sometimes the boy and his friend are coming here. And you say the boy, comma, and his friend are coming here. Now, the boy and his friend are coming here means that when the security man is standing there, he expects to see the boy and the friend together coming without the commas inside. Now, when you start putting the boy, comma, and his friend are coming here, what you're trying to say, the boy can come and his friend can come. The two sentences mean different things. So even in policy, in designing policies that govern access, you always have to be very, very careful how you code your sentences. Otherwise, your statements can end up meaning something different, which someone may not actually understand, and to lead to a breach. So all of these things are one of the reasons why we actually look into data, the principles that I'm talking about. Now, in the banking, for example, in the banking in banking, ensuring that the integrity of transaction data is paramount. If integrity is compromised, the hacker may alter transaction amounts and leading to financial discrepancies, which is actually also true. Somebody can just drop 1 0 and changes everything and add another 0. Have you realized that sometimes when you sign your check, they tell you that put a dash after what you have written, or write maybe and 20 Ghana cedis only, and then put a dash there. So there's no room for anybody to add any other thing to it. I don't know whether I've seen you have been encouraged to do that before. But all of these are reasons why we don't want to alter the information and then it may have a different meaning. Then availability. Ensure that the data and the systems are available when needed. Consider an online ticketing website doing a major concert sale. If the system crashes and isn't available, it could lead to a massive revenue loss and disappointed customers who want to listen to the music or participate in the event. Now, I'm coming back to Paulina and the rest of the class. So a few years ago, when I was living in the UK, Tesco had a product in which it was a loyalty card. The loyalty card was the fact that as you shop in Tesco, they end up giving you points, and then they look at the things that you tend to shop most. And when you tend to shop most of those items, at the end of the month or before another month starts, they will give you coupons, which will give you some kind of a sale or reduction, or you can pass it to get it at a cheaper price on some of the products in the specific aisles you have been, or categories of products you have been patronizing. And then they may also introduce you to new products which are related to the product that you have been patronizing. So after some time, Tesco brought what you call the family card, that the family can sign up and they'll give you tags like key holders. I don't know whether anybody experienced this thing. Like key holders, and you can put it on. So every family member has one. So the dad has one on his key holder, mom has a key holder, children can have some on their keys holders and stuff. So when you go and shop in Tesco, the family can accrue points. So I can go after lunch, during lunch, I can go to Tesco, buy some croissant and then some drink, and then I swipe and I get points. My wife may go and shop and then you also get points. My daughter will go and do that and get points. Now, what happened was that a family was trying to sue, a gentleman was trying to sue Tesco for giving information that led to the breakup of his marriage or a mess in his marriage. Why? Because at the end of the month, they brought the coupons, and there were coupons in the aisle of sex performing drugs and things to do with condoms and stuff. And the children are young, they couldn't be the one. The woman said it's not her, then they couldn't be the only person that was the dad was a man. And it became a very big issue in the UK. I have the case study there in one of my students' PhD, my students' thesis. So it became a big issue, and it led to all kinds of things. And I think the marriage got broken up or something like that. And the guy came to sue that Tesco has given too much information. But Tesco says that when you sign up as a family, you ask for the frequency of the sending you the coupons, and you also sign up that who should it be sent to and which address and everything. And as you sign up as a family, that means that the information comes to the family house and everybody has access to it. So is there a time that a point at which too much information on consumers is not good, or how we use the much information of consumers becomes a problem for the consumer than rather become an experience that's supposed to enhance the relationship between the consumer and the person collecting the data? Yes, I'm asking a question. Or most of you have not lived in UK, or you don't know what I'm talking about. I can show you pictures of it. Yes, I'm asking a question. What do you think about it? Paulina, you are the one who brought the ECG question. So if you have some points to say, are there comments in the chat room about this? No. Okay. Doesn't anybody have any view? I'm asking.
Liz and Mariam.
Oh, okay. I'm not. Oh, but tell them to go ahead. I can't see everybody, so I was looking at
Please. Okay.
different
Yes,
names.
please go ahead.
Okay, so please, I wanted us to look at the mobile money.
No, I want to look at mobile money.
That MTN was trying. No, not mobile money in itself, but there was a time that they required customers to use their Ghana card when trying to withdraw money. And we realized that in that season, a lot of scams, there was an increase in scamming because when you are withdrawing the money, you have to mention your ID numbers and other things like that. And there might be people around that will pick up that information and then use it to call you back later to scam you. I don't know if it falls in the place of information security.
Okay, we'll come back to it, and maybe I'll let Obed answer that one. Liz, go ahead. Liz, go ahead.
She was the one who just spoke.
Oh, sorry. Then there was another hand.
I think Mariam's hand was up, but it's down now.
Oh, Mariam.
Okay, so
okay, go ahead.
Okay, so with regards to the your situation with Tescon, I don't think that customers are given too much information, especially when the organization has requested for, or they are very much aware of the kind of information organization is collecting. If it becomes too much, I think that is where you don't give or you don't sign up with that kind of information. Because then the organization also will depend on such data to give you a better experience, or they'll depend on that data to also tailor their services to meet what you also want. But then it becomes too much, like your personal information, for instance, you're allowed to give or not to give, and you're allowed how much of information you can get. So it's all dependent on you, the individual. If the organization is asking you think it's too much, I don't think you should give. I think there should always be a balance between the two, which should be dependent on both parties. So that is my view on that.
Okay, that's a good point. Does anybody have it? Is any other hand up again? So this is how the card I was talking about looks like, and you just clamp card, you pick. So every little helps. So every time you pick. Some of them have it like an ATM card. The family ones come on like tax sliders that you can use. Every member of the family can pick it up. Yeah, and I think you have a good point about it. But I'm just even considering that. So, is there some information that because I think with Tesco, it was just an algorithm. It will just print the thing and just tell you the coupons to just be sent to you. So I don't think anybody intentionally wanted to embarrass the man, but it was just the algorithm will pick up the information, pick up the card, and then look at what has been bought over time, and then send the coupons as is. So, but this is where sometimes when we have a lot of information about consumers and we are using it, it can become the firm become quite powerful, because we can actually constrain the consumer in a way that the consumer may not want like that. And sometimes there's even switching costs which can come high. I know so much about you that you don't want to even leave. You want me to stay. Because if I leave you and I now go to ASDA, I will end up giving almost the same type of information to ASDA. One person should have that much information about me. Yeah. Paulina, let's go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to add to what she was saying. I wanted to say you can't eat your cake and still have it. When she was talking, that's what I thought of. But you can't eat your cake and still have it. Like she mentioned, sometimes they take all those information. It's based on all that information that they're able to give you the quality of service they give you. And you've been enjoying this for a while. So if they start going against you, well, it's part of the game. But like she said, there should be a balance. Do
you think that balance is achievable? I don't think the balance is achievable because the company is just giving its input and output. So what you put in is what you get.
And for us, in our case, sometimes the information we take, we don't need it immediately, but they take all, assuming they will need it in future, so that in future, if they need that information, they wouldn't have to go around taking it again. So sometimes they take the information not for now, but for future need.
Actually, I wanted to tell you that some of the things are legally needed, because when there's a case between you and the firm wants to know you and try to create a profile about you and use that profile to be able to predict patterns of behavior. So some of the information you may not realize, but it's needed. For example, somebody can be able to tell that, okay, so where I've signed up on MTN and maybe mobile money, and I live at, let's say, Medina, and then my friend also signs up at East Legon, and lives at East Legon. Now, with some time, you can be able to tell whether what the pattern of behavior of people who tend to withdraw money or in East Legon, and what's the volumes of withdrawal. And then you compare to somebody who is maybe in Medina, who may be taking it maybe in smaller denominations and even wants just something small. But somebody comes from East Legon and he wants to maybe take like 2,000 Ghana, 7,000 Ghana. And so if you want to operate there, it means that you have a high cash flow to be able to meet the customers and give them a good experience. But if you are in maybe Medina market, you may not need that much. I'm just using you may not need that much because people maybe just need just a little to be able to complete their shopping. And that's a little bit different than somebody who may be in a very busy district that has the type of transaction that takes place there is quite high. Yeah. Now, Boateng Amate.
Thank you, sir. I wanted to add that it also brings to mind the need for us as customers to be reading our terms and conditions.
Okay.
So that when the time comes, we don't go fighting when we have signed up and we haven't read about some of the things. Thank you.
But you know that sometimes those fine prints are so small that we are in a hurry for the service. We don't read.
Yes, most of the time, yes, we don't
end up reading. Okay. Liz, Oba, would you want to answer this question? Then we can go ahead.
I had another question related to what Paulina, the answer Paulina gave.
Okay.
So I was wondering where the dividing factor will be in terms of we as customers want certain services, so we have to provide the information. But is it the case that if I want privacy, so I don't want to provide some information, am I still given the opportunity to still have access to the services, or it is mandatory that this information is provided? Because there are some services that if you don't fill the form completely, you cannot progress. So in this case, does it go against the position of privacy and community security?
I think consumers, I think Godfrey said it, consumers have to prepare to lose some value of their privacy if they want to get certain type of services. Because that's the nature of the service, so you cannot do that much. For example, you want to use Glovo app to be ordering food. Your location has to be given to us. Unless you check where stand by your neighbor's house, and when they bring it, you go collect it there, then you walk back to your house. But that will be a little bit tiresome for you yourself. But your location has to be given up. So as much as we want convenience comes at the cost of some of us sacrificing some part of our security and some part of our privacy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think some of the consumers are not educated about that. You go to a hospital, they are picking information about you. You are a known maybe actor or quite popular TV host, and you have malaria. As soon as they draw the blood in the malaria, somebody can WhatsApp that to somebody that, hey, Convener has gotten malaria. Then we'll give it to Zion Felix. Then Zion Felix will start calling that we have to go and visit him when he's sick. By the time you realize, by the time you get home, social media is waiting for you at your house. You wait, but who will leave the information? Somebody saw you there. And you know what's even surprising? Sometimes the person doesn't want to say that you even have malaria. He's so happy, takes a picture with you. Guess who came by to my office today? Convener. And then he put the picture on the Facebook. So Convener, what were you doing at PPAG's office? Are you signing a new contract? Are you signing a deal? Then somebody starts a speculation. So sometimes we find ourselves in that kind of a fix. I remember 2 days ago, I saw somebody, one of the popular MPP serial defend those who tend to defend them and talk for them on radio and TV. And I saw him at a restaurant sitting down eating with somebody. Yeah. And then as soon as I met, I said, oh, I like your submissions. Because by the time he left there, about 8 people had gone to talk to him. And I was saying that how can he be able to eat in peace if he's sitting in this public place? But it happens. Maybe he has to have a meeting with somebody. So these things happen quite often. So as much as you want security, you also you want better service and convenience. You also tend to have to sacrifice part of it. Okay, I think let me take Nancy's hand, and then we can continue. Yeah, Nancy, please go ahead. Godfrey, get ready to read for us. Nancy, or you're just passing through.
Sorry, please, I want to know, is terms and conditions also a factor of the principles of information security? Because sometimes the company's terms and conditions can also make you bring out a lot of information that maybe you as a customer, you might not want to bring out. Especially maybe the company might want to maybe in the near future widen the customer experience. So they might need all these information to be able to go ahead and make it a better experience. So I just want to ask if the terms and conditions too can lead to you bringing out a lot of information.
Oh, most often the terms of condition is a legal document that wants you to accept that you yourself in your full capacity of being sound is signing up to this service, so that and then you agree to all the issues that have to do with it, so that in case there's a breach or there's a problem, you know what you are entitled and you know what you are also entitled to, and you also then to also give you assurance. Another thing like that is that, but if you can write it down, I'll spend some time after we do the data protection on terms and security and how to construct one. I have something like that, how to write
Okay,
one.
Prof.
Yeah. Now, it's also supposed to give you assurance. It's also supposed to give you, let you know what you are entitled to. So, for example, if you buy from Amazon and they tell you that within 3 days, if you bring it back, you can get a full refund. But if you wait for 30 days, you get only 20% of your refund. These are things that I put there to be able to know the assurance that this thing that you are buying, we are standing by it. We can assure it's a good product. But if it's not a good product for you, you can bring it back. But this is the time that you are given for you to bring it back. So it's assurance and what you can be able to get. There's a post sales after sales services, what you can also get. And also an assurance in what the companies is giving to you. Because that product you're picking away is an identity of the company, representation of the company. So he wants you to tell you that this product, this is what we will stand by in terms of the usage of the product. So part of it may not ask you, in terms of the condition, ask you to sign up so that you have read it and you understand it and you are willing to go abide by it. They don't usually ask for information at that point. If they want information about you, they would have asked it before you get to that point. So by the time you realize they have information about you, some of them, to test if it's a software, they will ask you to agree to the term before you even install. So you have bought the software already, so you agree to the term before you install. If you don't agree, don't install. And some of them can also customize it. If you agree to this, they only remember this aspect of the application will work. If you don't agree to the next part, the other part of the application will not work. So the company wants to be able to protect itself and also protect you at the same time. But some of the times, it's also skewed towards the protection of the company more than the consumer. Okay. So now I've answered your question.
Thank you.
Okay, then Nancy's question, Nancy's hand is still. Now is that a new hand that you have raised?
No, please, I'll lower it. Thank you.
Okay, then. So Godfrey, let's go.
Okay, Prof. So I'm reading. Case study: TechFin Corp's security breach. TechFin Corp is a leading fintech company offering a range of financial solutions, including mobile payments, lending, and insurance. With over 10 million users, they hold vast amounts of sensitive data, from bank details to personal identification information. TechFin prides itself on its innovative approach and robust security protocols. Incident: one Monday morning, a group of hackers launched a simultaneous attack on TechFin Corp's systems. The attack comprised: 1. Confidentiality breach. The hackers infiltrated the company's cloud storage and accessed thousands of users' financial data. The confidential data was sold on the dark web, leading to multiple cases of identity theft. 2. Integrity compromise. The perpetrators manipulated transaction records, inflating loan amounts and altering repayment schedules, causing chaos and distrust among customers. 3. Availability attack. A distributed denial of service, DDoS, attack was launched, rendering the mobile app and website unavailable for users for 48 hours. Thursdays, thousands of transactions were disrupted, causing both financial loss and reputational damage. Immediate consequences. 1. The company's stock price plummeted by 20% in a week. 2. Regulatory bodies launched an investigation, leading to hefty fines. 3. Many users lost trust in the platform and began migrating to competitors. Discussion questions. 1. Strategic decision making. Given a threefold attack on Techfin Corp, which breach, in parentheses, confidentiality, integrity, or availability, do you think had the most significant long-term implications for the company? Justify your answer with reasoning.
Thank you very much. So let's look at the first one. Go for it. I know you are ready, so maybe you may like to go first. So please let me hear from other people. There are quite a number of people in my lovely class here. I've got Emmanuel Labi. Yes, Emmanuel Labi. Emmanuel, let's hear from you. So given the threefold attack on Techfin Corp, do you think which of the breaches do you think was the most significant in terms of long-term implications?
Okay. So I think it was confidentiality.
Okay, let's read confidentiality. Let me go back there. So why confidentiality?
So the people, their clients trusted them that they'll be able to protect their information. Okay. But over here, we are saying that the hackers infiltrated the company's cloud storage and accessed thousands of their financial data. So if you can't protect my data I'm giving you, then it's better I move from your company to another or to your competitors.
Okay. Does anybody have any other points? Any view? We are asking that which of these three has a higher, most effect or a long-term implication in terms of its impact on the organization. Yes, Mariam.
Okay, so for me, it's very dicey between the integrity and the confidentiality, in that there are loan amounts that has been altered and it has been inflated and the repayment schedules has changed. This will not only cause a huge financial loss to the organization, but to the clients. That's one. Another one, on the confidentiality part as well, the client together can equally sue the organization for a huge sum of money. And the organization is going to lose their reputation in the financial space. So, I mean, okay, I think I'll go for the confidentiality because though if the clients, I'll go for. I think the confidentiality has the implication will be much longer because then the organization stands a chance of losing their reputation. They may never come back from. If they get sued, they may never be able to pay. Even if they sell their company, they'll never be able to pay for it. So I think the confidentiality has much longer implication.
Okay, I think let me take Abdul Raf.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's a. I also go with integrity in a way that I feel the company did their best to protect the data. However, hackers were able to penetrate and also breach their security. So it's a dicey one because didn't sell the data themselves, they were hacked. So I'll still have some pity for them, but I'll look at the integrity bit.
Okay, so let me see. Now no explain. I want to hear what people are saying. Kofi, which of them? Just mention which of them you are choosing.
Integrity.
Okay, and now Boateng.
Confidentiality.
Elizabeth.
Confidentiality.
Paulina.
Confidentiality.
Okay. Okay, confidentiality is not the right answer. Let me say something. Then you can. We are arguing. No, I'm not saying I know everything. First thing that you need to do is to be able to ask yourself which of the things can you control. You can shut down your cloud storage and protect that your machine from further leakage or further access. So you block them and they don't have access to any other more data. Now, so that one you can control. The rest you can't control. Now the thing is on the dark web. So they have turned it into a business. Denial of service, you can also stop it. It's for 48 hours. So that one is time bound. You can stop it, but it will lead you to financial loss. The one you cannot stop is the one that is out there and is being traded. So that's one the challenge you have is that you also are a company that you are a fintech. So you don't control the credit card and the bank accounts that were given to you. The bank accounts belong to other banks. So now you have to negotiate those other banks and tell them that this person's data has been compromised so that they can actually block accounts or inform the consumers. And consumers, maybe somebody has traveled, maybe I have an account, maybe Chase Bank, but I'm in Ghana now. So if even they bring something, I have to go into my email and check and say, if I don't see it, and the thing may take me about a month before I log into my Chase Bank account and check that all the money is gone. So I don't know whether you heard about this case today that some lady in the Energy Commission was taking money from ATM all the time. Just this evening. Have you heard about it?
Yes.
Do you realize that the only way the bank could stop the whole thing was to catch the woman and stop the woman from continuing? But the customers themselves, at the end of the day, are now going to deal with the bank. So to be able to prevent, you stop the source of the breach, you stop the source of the hack, you stop the source of the infiltration. Then you have other things that are going to be long-term. The long-term part is the one is on the market that you cannot do. Then now that bank, ADB, has to deal with building consumer confidence again. In fact, today, if you don't take care, the question, the media didn't tell us, I don't know, the one I listened to didn't tell us how the lady was doing it. I don't know whether she had some MasterCard that was able to enter people's account, because I asked her technically, what was she doing? A 44-year-old woman, what was she doing? How was she doing it? I don't know whether anybody was able to listen further or somebody who works in ADB will tell us the secrets. But what was she doing? Apparently, okay, so is somebody talking? Nadia, you saying something?
Yes, I actually work in ADB. I work with ADB.
Okay.
Yes, and the issue was her account, she withdrew for her account to get empty, like there was no funds in her account.
Okay.
So there was a technical issue. So she still tried using her card to withdraw, and it was actually giving her the funds. Like her card was overriding the system, and she kept doing it for long.
Then this one, you guys are in trouble. Oh. Technically, if it is your technical problem, then she with a good lawyer. I don't know why she has gotten all those breaches that have been signed again. They have to use another clause to get her, because that after some time, look, if she did it for maybe 3 times, she can get away with it. But the way she has done it for 1 year, that means that now intent took place. Now you got intent and intent to actually defraud. So that one, then I think you got him with the intent. But for the first 2 days, you can't say it's intent. The person can say it is miracle money. He may be taking the money from the bank. But what I'm trying to point out, those of you chose confidentiality, which you can argue with me. If you stop that one, You have prevented the data from going forth. Now you have the data, you have the issue of dealing with what's on the market, which you cannot control. Do you know that there are even people in Ghana here, in certain parts of Ghana here, that you go there, you can buy credit card information from them. So that if the person has not blocked the card is, the thing is still being traded on the market. The data is being traded on the market. So the challenge you have much more is with availability is not integrity. When people can use those information to start manipulating transaction records. Now has a different view. I don't have a problem. Please, it's a discussion. I don't know it all. I'm using what I also know to explain it. Now, please go ahead. Oh, your hand is up, or it's an old hand. Okay. Oh, but then please put the hand off us.
Okay, Prof.
Yeah. Godfred and Co. And today Bintu, you are quiet. Victoria, today you are quiet. Those are please, any other person thinking otherwise of my argument.
So, Prof.
Yes.
Yeah, I will go for the availability attack because of the reputational damage. Because in business, when your reputation is damaged, it will be very difficult for you to redeem it back. But when it comes to the financial aspect, I believe you may have some investment to be able to sort that one out, but to be able to redeem your reputation, it will have a very a long effect on the company for them to redeem themselves back. So I will go for the availability attack.
But if you say that it's both, integrity has distrust among customers. That has nothing to do with reputation too. So both of them have the reputational issues. So anything that touches on reputation is more difficult to get back. I think it's the same thing that we had with the banking crisis that we had in Ghana. Anything that to do with reputation is very difficult to get back. You are right about that. You're right about that. So now I think yes, Mariam, yeah.
Yes, Prof. I think I'm finding it difficult to understand why the integrity has more implications. Because we know that the dark web, you have no control of what goes on in the dark web as well.
Okay, so let me explain something to you. The dark web part is happening in the integrity and the availability, and even for integrity. The people from those who are getting the information here are they are the ones using it for identity theft. So the confidentiality breach happens when we enter into the platform and then get access to the data. So stop that one. If you stop that one, confidentiality breach is ended. Now the rest you have to deal with is the people using what they use the information for. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Now I have the information from the dark. What do I use it for? Now I have to use it to manipulate transaction records. I have to use it to impersonate the person, to fish for new social engineering, fish for new information, and cause chaos. So now he improves or he moves to a higher level of crime. And that one can be available for years. So I understand what you mean, but what I'm trying to emphasize here with the confidentiality breach, you can stop it for having a continuous occurrence. Its lifetime could actually a breach and you stop the breach. But now the consequences of it is leading to other integrity and maybe availability attack may not, but more about integrity. Yeah.
Yes, Prof. I think I understand that now.
Okay, girlfriend. Oh, Abigail.
Okay.
Let Abigail go first.
Prof, I wanted to say that what we are treating can be likened to MTN Momo fraud, but you see, most of the population are logged on with MTN. Yeah. But then, in spite of the confidentiality breach, which we have fraudsters calling us and demanding our fees and stuff, but then people are still with MTN in spite of this because MTN tried to educate the public about not giving out their PIN to fraudsters.
Okay. Well, what I say is, so they have managed they're trying to build the consumer trust.
Yes.
Good. And that's what's keeping them with them, yeah. But
so then it doesn't even consumers are even
modifying behavior. one of my PhD students who just defended his PhD talked about the story that a lady who is an elderly market woman was robbed with mobile money in a bus. So they stopped it. They made them send the money to an account, and then they made them go. They didn't do anything to them. So she said that the next time she has been flying on that route for a very long time, and she knew that it would happen again. So what she did is that she now went to register another SIM. Then the SIM that she put in the phone has only just about 20 Ghana cedis on it. And the SIM that has the proper money for the business that she wants to go and transact in wherever she's going, she puts it somewhere in a purse that you can't even see. So another time it happened again, the bus was stopped, the people came to the bus, and when they said they should send the money, she sent only 20 Ghana. And she at least she sent something, and she was nothing happened to her, but she saved her capital. So consumers start also modifying behavior to be able to beat the crime. So that's what happened in such a case. Yes, Nancy, please, you can talk.
Hello, please. I'm actually getting a little bit confused with this example. Should it be in any case where integrity will come first? Because since the integrity is about using people's information,
Okay.
breach it.
Nancy, let me explain something to you. What we are
I
dealing
don't know
with
if you get me.
I get you. What you are dealing with, the long-term implications. This is which of these breaches or these occurrences has a longer-term effect on the company. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Now, last week, do you remember that I told you that I talked about, I think, Equifax, if I remember.
Yes, please.
Do you realize that when they hacked them, they went to the dark web, they didn't see anybody trading their data. They never saw their data being traded. And then at the end of the day, they just saw that it was a kind of thing that had been done by Chinese hackers. They just hack it and let you know that they have been able to hack you. But they didn't trade the information, they didn't sell it. So you see that integrity was not compromised. Nothing happened to availability attack.
Yes.
It's just good. So that's what I was telling you, that confidentiality can have a stop. That if you enter into your system and they compromise your information, they take some away, if you're able to stop it, they don't enter anymore. But if they start trading that data, then you're in trouble. It can take you years before you can stop that one.
Okay, so please, so can we say that the integrity is something like a more long-term something, and the
just for this case,
confidentiality is short-term?
No, just for this case. Just for this case, we're analyzing a case. Please. It's case by case basis. We're only analyzing a case.
Yes.
Just for this case. Just for this case. There are some cases that nothing will happen to confidentiality. It might go straight to just integrity. Do you know that integrity can be compromised by an authorized user?
Yes.
Good. So that means that no confidentiality has been breached. Okay. Abdul, I'll take the last question and we continue. Yes, Abdul.
So just to add to what you said, currently some organizations use watermarks in their documents. They have public use, office use, confidential, and all those things. Now, and typically we have a secretary and we have messengers. So the document can be confidential and it will still move through a secretary and even sometimes a dispatch. And secretary, so 4 or 5 people can still handle it. So in that case, they've seen it. But in terms of integrity, they are not going to discuss what they've seen because it's strictly confidential. So they've seen it, they've handled it, but they won't discuss it. So the integrity here is not uh, uh, breached. So I think the conversation, they can have access, but they cannot talk about it. So I think the part of the integrity here is still intact.
Okay, let me give you an example. So there's a time that I was working with a senior colleague in KNUST, and we developed a software for processing students' exam records. And usually the examination officer has to print the records and to lie on the table, and then you carry it to examiners board meeting. So we realized that sometimes when students come to the office, they look at the table and see whether there's anything lying down. They can be able to know people's marks. So what we then decided was that when we print out, we interchange the numbers. So if you got 83, we write 38. So that at the end of the day, if anybody chances and reads it, if it doesn't have the code, he cannot interpret it. So if you are sending the information to somebody and you have coded it in such a way, the person can look at it, but still doesn't know that it has been coded. And he doesn't even know the code we are using.
Okay, sir.
You understand what I'm trying to say? So we can make information plain through printed data, in print for people to see. But if you don't understand the code that has been used to match the data, you may not be able to interpret it appropriately. I remember somebody was saying that are you going to do some technical? We will learn some of the should I say principles and mechanisms that are used to protect data, and that may lead us to some tools and some of the basic things that you can do yourself. For example, embedding information in a picture and sending it across to others, so that when the person gets it, he can also delayer the picture and then see the information there. We do that a lot in the cyber world. If I'm saying this, I'm making people scared. Don't worry. You can use basic PowerPoint to do what I'm just saying. Basic PowerPoint can just do that. So now you don't need any extensive software. And Word can also do some interesting things that you may not know. Okay, so I'll try to use the basics, and then we can look at some. Part of this course to just introduce you, because there's another course that will take you to deeper levels of this particular security. So we can't teach into the towards the end of the swimming pool now. We'll just try to be at the beginning of the swimming pool. The deep end we'll do it later when we start the program in October. Okay. Now, let's see this question. If you were the chief information officer, what measures would you put in place to prevent similar breaches in the future and restore consumer trust? You see what I was telling you? You prevent the breach, then you go and do what the lady was telling. I don't know if who was saying it. You go and restore consumer trust. So she's actually right. The two things you have to deal with is close the breach, restore consumer confidence. Close the breach, restore consumer confidence. What measures will you put in place? Is it good to go in the newspapers and admit that you have been hacked? Or you write to the consumers and tell them individually, or call them, or you call their banks. Can I get some? Those who are in the banking sector, give us some advice. Godfred, let me hear you on this one. Since you have something like this has not yet happened, but if what you do I know you do scenarios. So when you do a scenario and you have done a scenario like this, what do you think should be done?
So in issues like this, we would want to first trace where the breach happened. So if it's a security breach, we would get the security patch to be able to patch that breach so that something of that sort wouldn't happen in the future. That's the very first step we would take. The second step would be to see whether the information has been leaked out. If it hasn't been leaked out yet, or maybe the information has been compromised, as per security feature, would want to reach out to one or two customers to be able to update their information. If maybe it's a password, would entreat you to change your password immediately. If maybe we need to do some two-step security authentication, etc., we would do same with you. So those are basically the two steps. We don't, unless maybe it is way out of our hands, and then maybe our regulators are asking that we go out there to give the information out. that is what would give it up. But if something of that sort is not, if the magnitude is not that huge, then we would want to solve it internally as compared to we going on the news, etc. to
Okay, you see,
lay that information across.
what you have said is very, very good. You mentioned a number of things. First of all, you deal with the breach, then you try to sample consumers to see what is happening, and then you also think about wait to see how you engage the regulator to know whether you can go ahead or not go ahead. The interesting thing about the age of social media is to be able to tell what time is the best time to talk. Because if you don't talk fast and then your own competitors even leak it to these bloggers that we have in Ghana, you are in trouble. So it's a very difficult situation for most of the information security officers because of the kind of misinformation and the information and over-information that we are having in the cyber world now. Somebody may go with it and go part of the truth and even mess it, make it murky. So by the time you try and restore consumer trust, there are set things that never happened. And I think you know some of these things that keep on going on. And another thing that you mentioned that is very interesting is the fact that, okay, a thing has happened and we want to inform consumers. But what I wanted to point out is that sometimes you also look at the severity of the issue and you may freeze all accounts that have been hacked. So the consumers who are not even will be forced to contact you, and then you can then give them some information or give them some feedback, or even take them through a process of making sure they themselves are contacting you and you are securing their information, their data or their value with you. That's the money they are placed in your hands. So you want to secure their value, so you may end up changing all the passwords that's related to that. Yeah. So I think what you said is right. But to restore consumer trust, you need to be able to make sure that you tell the consumer before somebody tells the consumer. That's one thing I would advise. So that at the end of the day, and you also need to let the consumer, at the time I tell the consumer, you have a solution. You can't just say we are still. I don't know why Ghana in Ghanaian institutions, most of them like we are looking at it, we are examining it, we are managing. They will never tell you the solution they have now. Just stay put. We will hear from us. And you want the consumer to believe that what I say, you are managing and they hacked you, and you are still managing now. So I think that you have to be more forthright in assuring the consumers. Any other points here? I saw somebody give us a comment in the chat room. Let me check. He said, okay, you're just saying, responding to something. Yeah, Nancy, yeah.
I think maybe sometimes they are afraid that some of their consumers will not actually partake in whatever they are offering them anymore. So that's why they keep the thing confidential.
It's true. It's true. You don't want to have a massive fallout. So that is why you keep the information. But yes, Patterson, your hand is up.
Yeah, Prof. I also realized that within sub-Saharan Africa, mostly they deny maybe per the severity of the case. If it's not quite severe and they realize that much harm has not been done, and they turn up, maybe it's just a hack, maybe the process or the fraudulent people are trying to, they've just hacked the system to show the auditors that your systems are very secure. So when they realize not much harm has not been done, they try to deny maybe this hack has been done or anything. Just maybe I'm sure maybe to keep the confidentiality to their customers and their clients as well.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. So everybody weighs and they make a choice out of what they weigh out. Okay, considering deployment in the stock price and regulatory fines, discuss how you, as the CEO, will communicate with the shareholders and the general public about the breach and the company's recovery plans. Is there any CEO here? Oh, you're hiding. Let me make somebody a CEO right now. Elaine Edubwine. Yeah, a CEO in my class. This one is very tricky. How are you going to communicate? How are you going to communicate? You told them the truth or you told them half truth? How are you going to communicate? I think in some organizations, what they do is that even in trying to admit, the CEO may take some of the blame and then say that because of this, he's willing to take half salary until we have been able to solve the problem and stuff. So they tend to show some sense of responsibility from the company
In
itself.
Ghana,
No, not in Ghana. I like the question you asked in Ghana. You're not in Ghana, not in Ghana. I'm talking about global best practice. The CEO will even go after you. You the person. Yeah, right. Yeah, but shareholders can force the CEO to actually leave the ship and go. Yes, let me. I'm your please talk.
Prof, please, so can you say that one of the best ways for the CEO to handle something like this would be after measures have been put in place to rectify the situation? So it's more of giving your stakeholders some bits of information about something that happened in the country, in the business, but not something that you haven't been able to solve. That's if it can be solved.
Yes, what you are trying to say, and I like what you just said, is that don't appear to the stakeholders and make it look like you don't have a solution. You have to give them some assurance. If you come there, you don't look like you don't have a solution, then you're going to actually let them jump ship. Because that means that at the end of the day, so you have to give them that what Governor was saying. We have been able to stop the breach. We identified that some patch has not been put in place, and that we have also been able to secure new systems. And sometimes they even tell us Oracle is currently in the country. We are updating all our databases. We threw them in yesterday night. They're telling all these things and stuff, and then they tell you that your money is still secure and that there's we have been able to recover this and this and that. However, sometimes might not be the entire truth. So that's why the regulators are very, very careful about it, because for some of them that are insured by certain type of institutions, if you go bankers, you have to come and pay your stakeholders for you. So they don't want you to fail entirely. You have to help you to be able to succeed. So I don't have the best answers for all of these things. Most of these things come up. I mean, the best answer is how you understand the situation, how you deal with it. So in the real world, some companies actually struggle in taking the next step because they don't know what to do. Some of them, they never even thought that this will happen. I'm just a young guy. I started this tractor business. I was able to put on social media. Now I got 5,000 followers, and my earnings is about 20,000 Ghana cedis a month. Why are they hacking me? That's the question you hear the person say, why are they hacking me? I don't have that much. If somebody is not thinking about whether you have much or not, he knows that he can take you ransom, and the people who depend on you will have to come and release you so that you can take the money. So one thing that we always say is that as much as possible, make sure that you, the company, you have been doing simulations to make sure that to check whether your systems are that secure, and then the response whenever there's a breach. What are the steps within the organization so that you can be able to minimize the uncertainty and the chaos? So you should, when you do a simulation, you have to simulate the different actions that even consumers have to do. We do that for fire service, where we do trainings and simulate that in case there's we'll all gather at this point. But for business continuity, it's important that we also put in measures that will address data breaches and being hacked into our systems. Anyway. Okay, so let's look at the types of data security threats. That's been a very good discussion. So last time we talked about a number of them. Some of them can be simple or standalone threats. Others can be very, very sophisticated and can be a network of different systems coming together. So we'll look at some of a number of them, then we'll narrow down on one of them later. So first of them is malware. Malware is a category of different types of threats that can happen to you. And I'll go into that one into detail. You can have about 8 different types or 9 different types of malware. But let's look at one round. I'll talk about the other types later. Okay, so malicious software designed to gain unauthorized access, cause damage, and disrupt operations. So there used to be a WannaCry, a ransomware like a WannaCry that encrypts users' files and demands a ransom to decrypt them. So you know that there are some human beings behind it. It will take your files, encrypt them, and then encrypt them means that it will put them together and turn them, into a format that you cannot open without having a particular key that will help you to decrypt it. So that he now has that particular access, and you have to come and pay the ransom before they can give you that access. Okay. Cyber attacks can halt the business operations and lead to significant financial losses. Phishing, fraudulent attempts to deceive users into sharing sensitive information, typically through misleading emails or websites. I think we talked about this last week. Then you have man-in-the-middle attacks. Okay. So man-in-the-middle attacks comes from unauthorized interception of communication. Somebody say, yeah, they have tabbed me. Between two parties, with the attacker secretly relaying and possibly altering the communication. So this one, he has tagged his inside. But what is happening is that he's actually giving information to the person supposed to go to, but he has altered a little bit of it so that he can have control. An attacker intercepts communication between a user and an online banking platform, potentially capturing the login credentials and redirecting transactions. I think I told about something like that last week concerning Google and I think one other company, was it Microsoft or something like that? That some gentleman had been able to hack them for a very long time and use that information to make almost $100 million, and they caught him.
Facebook.
It was Facebook good. It was Facebook good. So the attacker intercepted the communication. Now this interception of communication is true. I remember when I used to work in Uganda. I go and stay in the hotel, and in the hotel I will join the hotel network. There used to be a software around that time, in the 2010s and 2009. A software called Real Player. I don't know whether it's still around. Real Player has a network player version. What I mean network player version is that when you are playing it, you can actually browse the network and see others who are also using Real Player, or see others who are trying to view a particular type of content. So when I sit in my hotel room, anytime anybody opens a video and tries to watch it, it will signal to me that this video is being watched and to give you the IP address that you are watching it from. So I can mean the hotel, I can see what people are actually trying to watch and stuff. It will just trigger and let you know that these are being watched on the network and that this is where they are watching it from. You may not know the room number, but I'm just telling you that it's happening within the network. So interception of communication is something that is really true. It's really true. And somebody say, so how do you learn that? When I was in tech, we used to do a lot of things. Okay. So I didn't use it to hack anybody, but I'm just trying to just say that you could be able to know, be in the middle of conversations. And with that, you can be quiet there. You won't say anything. All you just want is the data. You just pull the login details. Then later you go back. Yeah. Now some of these things can happen even at the ATM stand. Where somebody is standing by you and just watching how you are punching the numbers. And if he's able to get your card, then you can use the same card details for you to log in and then get access to it. Liz, your hand is up.
Professor, I have a question.
Yes, please.
So please, in the instances where these hackers create similar websites and then redirect maybe the information, for example, it's like you are buying something from Amazon, and when you enter the link, it takes you to an Amazon website, and you enter your account details, but then you realize that it's not actually Amazon that you went to. Is that also man in the middle attack?
Oh, please, can you say it again? Let me get. I didn't hear you very well.
Okay, so I'm saying that we've heard, or I've heard of instances where those who purchase items online, they enter the website, and it actually takes them to a website that looks very legitimate. However, when they enter their Visa card details and their information, it never actually gets to the seller or the institution. Can we also claim it as man in the middle attack?
It has similarities, but there's actually I've forgotten. There's actually another description for this one. It has similarities, but there's another description for it. I know what you're talking about. Some people create is a website that mimic another the legitimate website, and then direct you to go there when actually log in. Yeah, somebody has and log into that website and take your information from you. They do that a lot. And even it happens when you receive emails, and then the email looks like it is coming from Vodafone, but you don't realize. So they write Vodafone, Vodafone, like maybe info@vodafone.com.gh. I think that's the right one, But they will then do info@vodafone.com. maybe NZ. But you don't know, you didn't look at it. Or they'll do Vodafone, then they'll do the double E. So you have registered that email address. But you will see the very first part, Vodafone, it's coming from Vodafone. And then you also open it up, then they'll be able to get the information, you respond to it. Now, if the person has been able to intercept the communication between the two, that is it. But if the person is just sending information to you for you to then start giving the information to him, that's not intercepting him from. He has actually pulled you to the wrong website. That's different. That's different. But I'm trying to talk to you, Kwame now, and then somebody standing by, and it's like he's on a phone call, but he's not on a phone call. He's actually listening to the conversation the two of us are having. That's what we are talking about in the middle attack. Yes. So the person can be there through software or through, like I was telling you, I was using software to do mine. I'm on a network and I can listen and find out all the packets of information that is being transferred. And I can interpret the packets to know there's this video coming from this link. Some of these things, unless you have maybe 2 or 3 computers and you install it and you see somebody trying to watch a video, you see what I'm talking about. Like it will just send the information and anybody can do. What I'm trying to tell you is that when you're on a network, people can know what you're doing. So people say, oh, I have secured, nobody knows it. Even if the thing is in your house, somebody can come in and log into that MTN router and know all the pages that you visited without coming to your computer. Because there's a log of where it goes to and the information it is picking. Hey, I'm saying things that will let people stop using the internet in the house. Paulina, please go ahead.
Please, does the information go to the people who created it, or is a third party who is trying to just come into our space of maybe that?
It depends on the originator. Somebody can create, like I knowing that can create it and sell it. So I went and tell Godfrey, I know there's some vulnerability in maybe Glovo. You are Haptel, so I want you to get insider information. So what is going to happen? You know, when people order and the order is delayed, as soon as you realize is that somebody will have to do a phone call and then call the number. Now I have a way of routing orders that are delayed to your number so that you would rather call the consumer and then you give the consumer some information that can then lead you to get other information for the consumer. So the driver now finds a way of delaying something so that a call has to be triggered. And when the call is triggered, somebody will redirect there. Somebody I've also talked to at maybe MTN or something like that. Then he does it and then the call goes through. So you need other parties to let it work. It's not just one party. Sometimes somebody can use a software to be able to do that. Or can send something for you, you download it. Like the lady said something here today that she downloaded something, didn't even see that. She opened her page, she didn't even see anything there. Then later she couldn't even access it. As soon as she opened that page, things were installed in the browser. The browser too was open. The person got inside into the information. Now, somebody's script can say that log everything that you see the person doing on the website. I can use one command to remotely capture your desktop. So anything that you click on, I'm watching it in my house. But I have to have access to your IP address. So I have to log in and see that there's no antivirus or internet defender or internet shield there. So I'll be able to hack into your machine and then capture the interface of your machine with one command, and I'm watching it. So anything that you do, I also watch it there. Now these functionalities have been put into the computer by Microsoft to enable us to be able to use it creatively for our work. So in case we are collaborating, we can pull somebody's. I saw this happening in a tax office. The tax office in UK. When you are working down, you go there. You are working downstairs as a newbie, and then you are entering tax information stuff. Now sometimes you have you are what, because you are dealing with people's tax information, you are also dealing with their social security. There's another number the UK uses. What's the name of the number? Is it NI number? I think so. Those of you live in the UK, what's the name of the number? Oh, US uses security. UK has a number they use. So everybody has that number if you want to work. Now you are dealing with those things. So to enable the supervisor to check, they use the same Microsoft functionality to be able to pull a desktop. So as you are there, you don't even know your desktop has been pulled, and you are the one they are watching right now. They are just watching everything you click, and they are it's being recorded. But they're just watching whether you are not trying to good. You are not supposed to look at the tax information of your relatives. So they try to make sure that when they join, they collect all the information about you. So you're not supposed to read the tax information about your relative, your partner, and everything that has to do with anything closer to you. So they look at they use competing applications or certain types of monitors to remotely monitor what you are doing on your on your computer. In the same way, a hacker can write one command, and as you open something, install it, and he also pulls the information, and he was also watching you. So both of them can work anyway. Both of them can work. Please, we are discussing. Don't get scared. Don't get worried. I think most of you know about some of you know about these things already. Okay, Paulina, please let your hand go up. So let your voice come out. Sorry.
Okay, so last time I saw a news item on CNN, and it was talking about, I think one of the US official sites had been hacked, and the information on the site had been
altered.
What word did you use? Has
Altered.
been altered, yes, and some of salient points. So nothing, the information there was intact, but they just changed words, simple words, and they said that had implications, serious implication. But because of how they altered it, they didn't even see it.
Good.
It had been there for a while. They noticed it later because they did not change the whole thing. They just altered the important things in there. So is this an example of man in them? Because this one is not like a communication between two people. It's information on their website.
No, this is not man in the middle. I think that's a different type of attack. But it happens. I think last time I even told you about the UN Secretary General speech being edited. And they left it down. So they didn't even know that it was edited. Yeah. Okay, so let's go on. There are quite a number of them. Denial of service attack or distributed denial of service has to do with overloading systems. So somebody, I think I mentioned this one last time, during the time that you have to book for rooms and you want to be able to get a room in the hall of residence, everybody's online trying to ask. Now, what a denial of service attack is, I know that we want to do it to MTM, let's say Facebook or maybe a service like maybe Better Dev Registry's website. So we send information. We have a global network of different computers that we control. We make them all try to open the page at the same time. And if the capacity of the load of the computer, that the server, that the website is hosted on cannot be able to take in all those requests, it will just shut down and the website will not be available for anybody to use. So without the mindset of hacking, this even happens when we open admissions and we want to get students to enroll, or we open something like school placement and people are trying to place and get placed and start, and you have over 7,000 people accessing the same website at the same time. If your data security and data set your server parameters that you have actually purchased from Amazon or whoever you have purchased it from, it's not able to handle it, the whole thing will shut down. So what they have done is they have overloaded your system, and then you cannot be able to have it and be able to render any service to your users. Can you just imagine 30 people want to take one Uber car, and the Uber car comes to park, and you all force yourself to enter. Nobody enters. So the Uber car will still be empty. That's what we're talking about. Multiple computers bombard the website with traffic, overwhelming its service, and causing it to crash, making the website inaccessible to legitimate users. So we are not coming after your access passwords or anything. We are just making your website, your platform inaccessible to us. Okay. Then SQL injection. Now SQL is, I think Is it a structured query language or standard query language? I think it's one of them. Is it structured? Those of you who do SQL, is it structured or standard? It's structured. Okay, so I was right. Structured query language. Okay. So it's a programming language used for accessing, modifying, and structuring information from relational databases. So, for example, if I have data in I have two databases. One is holding customer information, another one is holding information concerning customer orders. I can write an equation. I can write a query in which it will pull select from customer order where the customer's name is Boateng, and to put the customer information out. So to only bring Boateng and write my orders there. But I need to prepare an invoice for you. So I need your address. So that's when I'll go back to your data, your database. So I'll say select from customer database and where Boateng, select address from customer database where the name is equal to Boateng. Now that one will pull the my address, and then the first one has pulled the orders. And I can pull all of them together using different queries, and then they'll come onto one sheet and they create the invoice for you. So the invoice involves about 3 different queries I have done. One is coming from the customer database, another is coming from the customer orders base and order database, like where the orders are placed. And the only thing that links the two is the customer ID or the customer name. I mean, names may be the same, but the customer ID. So everybody has a unique ID. Their unique ID is what links the two databases together so they can relate. Then I use the SQL to pull the information from the two databases to be able to create an invoice and then be able to get information for it. Now, what is trying to tell you that attackers can insert a malicious SQL code into input fields, tricking the system into executing unintended commands. So he will not come into your machine where you are put in case you request I come to the system, ask that I want my invoice. You say enter your ID. Then I enter the ID. Then you then do the select from. So to pick my ID that I've entered as a variable, I say select from the other database where the customer's ID is equal to the ID, the variable I entered. And then select from the database, from the customer database, where the customer's name, ID is equal to the ID I entered. Then you can put them together. Now, the guy can trick that when he asks for the input, instead of putting the name there or the ID there, he will put a code there. And the thing will try to pick the code and put it into the SQL language. And if you're not very careful, depending on what the person is very smart in doing, it can put the code there that will end up being run. And by the time you realize, it has now been able to let the system to start executing commands that it was not told to do so. Because when you ask for the name, I put it there. That's one of the reasons why nowadays when they ask, they actually check the information. For example, if they ask for email address, they will check whether there's an @ sign in it to be able to show that the information you're putting is the appropriate information. Because sometimes hackers can actually start putting other information in it, and that information can be run by the program, and then it can lead to the collapse of the platform. Look at this one. An attacker inputs a malicious SQL code into a search box, forcing the database to reveal all user passwords. Because you see, as soon as it gets into the SQL, get into the data terminal, where the language terminal, where the commands are going to, the command terminal, where the commands are going to be run, whatever it has picked from the request that you entered, it is going to run it. So if you do your software in such a way that to request for past username, request for this, if people start inputting and put the wrong information, you're not able to verify and delete it. So the information you're putting is wrong. We don't want you to put an apostrophe. Unless the person's name has an apostrophe, they are in trouble. Because SQL may require you to put in an apostrophe or put in other kinds of characters. But if I identify any of those characters, I'll say that I reject that information so that you cannot run an SQL injection on my system. But it can happen. It can happen. Okay, please. I hope that is well understood. I think when you start doing data, one of the data programs with Dr. Wusu, you can ask that question of how an SQL injection can take place with the data that you have in front of you. Yeah, Nancy, yes.
So please, I want to ask, so people who are ignorant about the SQL code, how are they going to, how is that website or that, yes, that website going to prevent the person from actually being threatened by some of these SQL codes?
Okay, you can't do that too. So let me just say, the business school, the University of Ghana website can be attacked like that. So what the person does is that when the university is asking for information or like a search button, I'll go and put the wrong thing there. I'll go and put something there. And as I click search, it will start going to the database and looking for certain information and then give it out to you. So you, the students, may not even know that this has happened there. I'll put my information and walk away. It is the guy who is running the platform, who is managing the platform, who should have continuous monitoring and evaluation of the platform and checking the content that's taking place on the platform and what kind of queries are being injected or issued or run through the particular platform that you have. The monitoring is very, very important. The monitoring is very, very important. You, the normal user, you can't do anything much about it. You can only just observe and maybe then report. But even this one, you may not even know. Now, cross-site scripting. Cross-site scripting means that injecting malicious scripts into pages that are viewed by other users and potentially stealing information or spreading malware. Now, this is what happens. Okay, let me use this one before I also give you another example. A comment section on a blog allows users to input a JavaScript code which runs automatically when others view the comment, possibly stealing their session cookies. Now, what he is trying to tell you is that, you see, you go to Ghana Web. Let me use Ghana Web. So let's go to Ghana Web and let me use that as an example. Please, if you are working in Ghana Web, don't beat me. I'm just using, I'm not saying that happens on Ghana Web. I remember I was teaching this course some time ago and I showed how you can be able to check whether a company is vulnerable or not vulnerable. And I was showing a number of Ghanaian websites that Ghanaian companies that are vulnerable websites. Hey, by the time I finished, I was in trouble. Okay, so let's see this Ghana Web. So let's pick something interesting. Money is found at home, don't belong to her. Lawyer to court. Okay. Hey, this one there, the story is interesting. Okay, so we want the actual story. So then we click on it. Oh, let me show you the whole screen. Yeah, now you're seeing it. OSP arrests Cecilia Japa's husband. Hey, I didn't know. When did that one happen? Do you guys know?
Yes, Prof. This evening, they've granted them bail.
So they arrested both of them.
Yes, Prof.
Okay, let's continue. And you know, some of you work in government offices, you are quiet. You're not saying anything. Okay, so have you seen this page? This one. Can you see what I'm doing?
Yes, Prof.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. The person does this and says that, look, listen to what's going to happen. So your name, let's say Kojo K, Koki K. Subject, money man. Comment. So comments. So I'll go and pick Java script for data request. I don't know. I'm just something like that. How to make an HTTP get request. Okay. Okay, so look at fetch. You see this thing I have here? Fetch something from the post response. So I copy this one. I'm not saying this will work, but I'm just showing you something. I copy this one. And then I go to this I'm doing. Please don't go and take that web. I'm just doing an example. And I put it here. So depending on the vulnerabilities there, when I post, it can create something. Hey, now it's asking me that I should log in. I like what they have done. I think they realized that this was taking place. That's why they I can't log. If you log in, then they know the person who, the username and the password that actually did it. But what would have happened is that whatever code I put inside, when you come here and you come and click that you want to read it, it can actually, depending on what I put inside, it can actually open it up like this, and you run a command that the person who clicked on it, because your username and password is also there, pick that person's details. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It will fetch on, so the fetch command would have been on them. Then so Aaron Gordon. So I click on it, Aaron this. So it's a click on this thing to comment. So click on it to comment. But I can't comment. Okay, your comment is even here. So let's see. So what would have happened is that comment that the person is doing, as people start commenting or whatever it is, I harvest the data. And the thing will go to a particular website or a particular email address that I have already commanded it. Still asking for this. So that's what happens. Okay. Do you understand what I'm trying to say, gentlemen and ladies? Hello? Everybody is quiet.
It's quite complicated.
Is what?
It's quite complicated.
But hacking is what, so I'm not teaching you how to do it, so please. I'm just telling you. So I'm just telling you how the thing would have happened. So the person would have put a code here, then the code will be running. So when people come and click on it and they are reading, it will start picking the information about the people and sending it to him. That's what I'm just trying to say.
Is that how they get information on the Facebook account?
They do that for many things. Let me show you another one. Let me just show you another one. Those of you like downloading movies. So let's say what's the latest movie that has come? Let's see Avengers movie. Download. So click on download. Okay. Now I want some place that is okay. So Infinity War. Now, I should have done something to the thing computer. I should have used incognito before doing that. But right now the thing can actually be okay. So some of these pages here, they have put the thing there that come and they'll put the download link and download it too. Depending on what it is, when you click on the link, it will take you another page. And that page, you see, this my computer is telling me I shouldn't go. So I won't go. But that page would have put an advert there. And sometimes the advert will even tell you that you're able to download and answer these questions and you get it. And they can even ask you questions about MTN or about Ghana, because you can read that you are coming from Ghana. It will customize the question about Ghana for you right now. And you can even ask you how many presidents have come so far. As soon as you put the 3 inside, and then you put your mobile number here and this and that, so that you can download the movie. Because you want to move your greed of watching the movie for free, you say yes and you click on it and put your information there. By the time you realize they have actually picked data from you. One, they already have your web information because they are online with you. They have picked something from your web browsing and pick some details from that. 2, they have also picked information you are giving to them. Maybe you are giving them a name, and then you are giving them. And some of you are very, very innocent, so you give the right name. I'm called Cyril Manson, and my phone number is this. I live at Kotababi. You feel the same thing without knowing that this is not a legitimate website, and then now they have the information from you. And they can do whatever they want to do. Even look at some of them do hack tutorials. Look at what else. I think this is hack tutorials for different types of things. How to set. Look at this one. This is what account I'm looking for. Look at what is happening. Would you like to receive notifications on this is asking you about notification from this page. If you say yes, it keeps the details about you, so that next time you come here, you can be able to tell what are the things that you reviewed last time. It's enhanced your user experience, but you don't know who owns this platform and what you go and use that user experience data is collected from you to go and do. Whether you sell it to Russians or not, you don't know. I hope you understand. So you're actually saying yes. And it's cookie and data storage in detail. Let me see if I look at what's going to happen here. Below are all the cookies and data points that will be stored up to enable us to web push informations to you. So show the cookie info. Web push page views. This cookie stores your total page view on our sites. where push prompt action. This cookie is told if you did not accept to receive the push notifications. Where push subscriber ID. This cookie stores your unique ID associated with your push subscription. And if you accept, it's only stored if you accept and receive push notification from us. This helps us to successfully manage and present push notifications from you. So sometimes you're not even opening the page, but your browser is on, then you are still receiving things from that page because they picked information from you whilst you were there. Look at this one too. Server storage as small data point that will be securely stored by us only. If you accept the push notification, show the info. Dates that you came there, endpoint, the URL you came there from, the types of the device type, whether you use a mobile or a desktop, your operating system. Oh my. Your IP address, your city, your state, your country. You have sold yourself. All of you do this every day. You go to website, accept cookies. Hey, accept. Now they ask, then they tell you they want you to accept. They are giving this information to them. So me, if I was in your house, I can come and just say, okay, now Boateng, I want to see what you have been browsing when I'm not around. So I'll go, I know where to look at this information. Go into the browser, I'll pull all the cookie information to tell me everywhere. I'm not even pulling information like your browsing history. I'm going into the details. Actually, how many minutes you spent there, what you clicked on. Then after that, I say, oh, okay, this is what I've been doing.
Okay. Please, can the cookie to be an example of the intersection of communication?
Yes, to some extent, but now they're asking permission from you. So it's not intrusive now. Now they're asking permission from you. The web is now asking, and browsers are forcing that before they store, the browser will ask the information because that's now what the global consensus is. So the browser, that's why you have to be using a good browser when you are browsing, which is updated. Let me close the page. Information from me.
Because we've been accepting all kinds of cookies onto our.
You have been accepting it. Okay, today, everybody, bring your computer. Let me check what you have been doing. Where's your pastor? I'll call your pastor after that. Okay, so cross-site scripting is there. And then set. Hey, if you don't take it, we'll finish. You are enjoying the class. I don't think we can finish.
I just wanted to pass a comment. The cookies felt like biscuits. For all this, I thought maybe when you accept the cookie, you will get like a good feel of the website.
Yes, actually, you get a good experience of the website. Yeah. From Amazon like this, if they accept a cookie, they can tell you are welcome back, Richard, and then they can tell you whether you are browsing from Ghana, your last address you used to log in, the things you have viewed previously. They store very complex information about you. The things you chose this, your last things in your cart. Why is it that when you go back, they're able to even remember how many things that you had in your cart and everything stuff? And they can also store your password and your usernames through the browser. Okay. Cross-site request forgery. So deceiving users into input performing actions they didn't intend to, often without their knowledge. A user logged into their online bank and is tricked into clicking a link on another site which initiates money transfer from their bank account. And this is what I advise you. Whenever you're on your bank account, make sure that the browser, as much as possible, make sure the browser too is not browsing other pages that are not very friendly websites. Because you see, when you see the tabs, as you see the tabs here, the tabs have opened here, all the open here. Each of them is running something on your machine. As they are there, they are running things on your machine. So you go and open a page here, it can trigger information in the browser that this one can have access to, depending on the code that this page has written. I don't know whether you understand what I'm trying to say.
A little, sir.
No.
Okay. Okay, let me just show you something. I don't know whether this will work. Okay. I'm going to this website called fiverr.com. Okay. It's a freelance website for those who give consultancies and stuff. Okay, I've already signed on. So I wish I'll let me log out. Okay. Now, when I want to log in, now this is something that you have to be very careful. Instead of me actually signing, when I want to sign in, instead of me creating my own username and password, for the very longest time I've been signing in using it's not even here, Facebook. I sign in using Facebook. Where is the Facebook sign in? It's not even showing here. So you can either continue Google or you can continue Facebook. I'm a Facebook. My account is linked to Facebook. Let me see whether I can use another one too. Okay, this one won't work. Good. So good. I sign in. Now you see the Facebook here. Now listen to what's happening. As soon as I came here, my Google is wondering whether I'm going to use any of my old Google accounts to sign in. No, I'm going to Facebook. So Facebook is now triggered though. So Facebook has to open as a page. As soon as Facebook has open as a page, Facebook is going to let me log in. So they have integrated it. And then it will pick it. And you see, it has picked my information from Facebook and link it together because my Facebook information is stored in the browser already. In the same way, the things you are doing on other browsers is accessible to some websites depending on how you have linked them together and how you browse. So as you are trying to do this, the thing could have asked me a question that do I want to, as I'm logging in my Facebook, it will pick it up. But I've done this already and I've authenticated this browser as a browser that Facebook should know that anytime I launch this browser, Facebook should allow anything that I'm doing that I've linked it to it. But sometimes I've not linked it to it, but the browser will ask that, can he use your Facebook information? How did he know your Facebook information is existing? Because as soon as you think that you may have a Facebook account, as soon as you click on it, just use it. Your browser will go into the database, look for your username and password for Facebook, which you have stored in the browser, and pick it up, and then come here and start to join them together. But Facebook has done two-step authentication, so it will send you another command on your phone or another Facebook page that you use on it and ask you for approval. If you give the approval, you don't even need to come and click yes here. The thing will automatically open the page and it will just link together. So that means that at every point in time, these machines have been talking together without even you knowing. I don't know whether you realized it before. You have put something on your phone, and that even it happens in this your WhatsApp. And if you want WhatsApp to use on your computer, you say scan. When you scan the WhatsApp use the scan on your phone, all of a sudden it triggers some information to the WhatsApp on the web without you logging in, and it opens your account. How did the browser link to your phone? That means that there's a means for your browser to be sending information to other devices at all points in time. But the question is that there has to be a middleman that will link it at all for most of the applications. But what if there's an application that can actually let that happen without asking for the middleman? WhatsApp has integrity, so it will ask. Other platforms will ask integrity will ask, but there could be other platforms that could actually pick the information and link it to each other without telling you. I don't know whether any of you have done this, what I'm talking about WhatsApp before. That if you want to open WhatsApp on your computer, on a browser, let me use a fresh browser so that you can see. So I'm going to use this browser. Okay. So web.whatsapp. Is that the name of? Who knows the address? web.whatsapp.com. Is that correct? If I'm right. Oh, do you see what is happening here? Okay. Please, have you seen this? Do you see the QR code?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm going to scan it to my WhatsApp on my phone. Now listen to what's happening now. So that the two of them will talk. So do you know what information this is? This is information about my computer. This information is about my computer. It's about my web address. It's about the fact that I'm in Ghana. It's about the fact that I'm using this browser. We don't realize it, but this small image here has so much information about me, and somebody can decode it. So WhatsApp has created a means of decoding using this so to link a device. You click link a device, and then you come and show it to the WhatsApp to this code. Now listen, I'm not touching the computer. What is happening here? Now my phone is controlling the device, the web page to open on my computer using my details and sending it for my information here. So how do you think that a hacker cannot be able to control your machine from China? So now you see it has just opened my WhatsApp right now. And now you are seeing my WhatsApp straight ahead. I didn't do anything to I just showed the computer, the phone to it, and that's all. So what some people can able to do, they can control your camera. And as you have been sitting by the computer, those of you leave your camera on all the time, it will just take, the guy can catch an image. In case some of the website, you need an image of you, he will get the image from you from your own camera and store it. So that when he wants to enter it will send that command. Nancy, thank you very much. But when we are doing face-to-face, we may not have internet like this with everybody's computer to try it. I think I'll do a proper. I didn't think today will be a learning session, but like a tutorial session. I want to just teach the principles. Then later we'll do this so that you understand what we are doing when it's happening. But it seems we are getting more ahead of ourselves and we are doing interesting things. So you don't think that your computer cannot be controlled. Later, when I talk about rootkit hack breaches, you understand what I'm talking about. Because insider threats originating. Let's go back to threats originating from. Oh, now you are bringing your hand up, or the hand is gone down. Okay. Oh, but please be checking the hands because I minimize everything.
Prof, please, Ernest.
Yeah, Ernest, go ahead.
Yeah, Prof, please, is there a way to clear all these cookies that we have
Yes.
allowed?
Okay, so in all the browsers, there's a place that you can clear them. So you can go into, let's go back there. You can go and clear them. But if you clear them, anytime you are using it, to ask you again. Because and then to also, so some people clear them, or you can do what we call let me just open. So there's in the browser, there's something, all the browsers have got something called private browsing. Some browsers call it incognito. So when you do incognito, nothing will be saved. Incognito here, new incognito. So you have got incognito. Now you can browse privately and other people who use the device cannot see your activity. However, downloads and bookmarks and reading lists will be saved. Chrome will not save the information such as one, your browsing history, your cookies and site data. Information entered in the forms. You know, sometimes you enter your information in forms and stuff. When on sites can't use cookies that track you across the web. So there's some, so I didn't even forget to tell you that the cookies can even track you. That's what I'm trying to say, that it can link to other pages together and know that what you are doing on another page. So it tracks you as you go to other pages, it keeps on tracking you. And features on some of the sites may break. Okay. So if I remove this one, that means that it can happen. If I put it on, when on, sites cannot use cookies to track you. So cookies are, somebody said cookies, you thought it was a good thing. Yes, it's good in some, but some of the sites also use it to track you. Your activity will still be visible on the website you visit, your employer or your school or your internet service provider. So that one, you can't control that part. But there's also, at a higher level, you can do something about it. So that means that any page I go through here, it won't be saved. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It won't be saved on the computer that you're using, but on the router. If I go at the router level where the internet is being connected, I can know it, that this IP went to that place. That one I can know it. Okay, so this is incognito mode in this browser the browser is called Chrome. So when you go to this other one, Microsoft has one. I've forgotten the name. So new private window. That's the browser called Firefox. It's called new private window. So you can say Firefox Focus clears your history every time while blocking ads and trackers. So this one, you can download Firefox Focus. They are giving you other more things. Now you are asking, how can I clear my cookies? So in case you are, I'm using Chrome, I'll go to settings and under settings, I can search for cookies. Then you say clear browsing data, and you can choose that I want to clear all the last 24 hours. You know what it has to cookies on other side data. I've saved from 215 sites. That's what it's telling me that Richard, all your up and down you have been doing, going to download materials for reading literature and all this kind of stuff. You have said 215 sites are tracking me right now or have my data concerning me. So I can clear it for the last 24 hours, the last 7 days, the last 4 weeks, or all time. Please you see it? Well, let me zoom in. Do you see it? Hello?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Please.
Okay. So if you are not sure of the machine, in case you know your kids are using a machine with you want to be, some of the kids are so smart that now they can even go know your credit card details and say, by the time you tell you has already bought something online. So the last 1 hour, the last 24 hours, the last 7 days, the last 4 weeks, all time. Okay. Then you can also, so if I choose this one, I can say clear data. That's it. But this happens very well if you have signed into your Google account. If you're not signed, you can still clear, but to clear what it has just kept for some time. So allow, you see, you can also set allow cookies, block all third-party cookies in incognito. Block all, you see, block all third-party, block all cookies. They say not recommended. That means that you may not be able to even browse anything. Then send do not track requests with your browsing traffic data. So you can put it there so that when somebody's trying to ask for information to track you, automatically the browser will send, I didn't even know this was in this here. The browser will send it to them. Okay, this is customized behaviors. Sites that can always use my cookies, like this platform I built for, I built this platform for a company. So they say they can always, because I always have to be testing it. I've written that they can always use my cookies. Always clear cookies when windows are closed. Then I can click add and add those websites. And anytime I visit this website and I finish that website, clear it. Sites that can never use my cookies, I can put it here. So you can customize your behaviors. Okay. Is it better now? Most of you asked me to do this.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you too. Okay. Oh, but no other hand there, so I can just wrap up with the. Let's wrap up with data security. And we can go. Okay. So we have the drive-by downloads. So an unintentional download of malicious software into a user's system when visits a compromised website. So you go to a website you are not very sure, then the person visits a seemingly harmless website, but unknown to them, the malware automatically downloads and installs on the computer. It happens, like the lady mentioned it today. 0-day exploits. Attacks that target unpatched vulnerabilities, Equifax. Last week we saw that about in software applications that hackers know. So hackers know that, you see, the challenge that we have is that some of us have been using different platforms to develop our websites. Some companies use a platform, an open source platform called Joomla. Others use WordPress. Others use Drupal. Now, all of these have got vulnerability. For example, WordPress websites, when you do /wp-adim-admin, you get access to the back end. Now, all you need is just a username and password. So if people don't hide that, you know that the website is, you can even ask Google to tell you whether that was made with WordPress or not. So the company tells you that the thing tells you it was made by WordPress. All you have to then do is do /wp-admin, and you have access to the back end. Now you have to now guess the password or use another software to generate the password for you. So some of these things, but this may not happen if the software, if the website was built from scratch to from custom made, like off the shelf. It's not from the off the shelf, it's custom made from beginning to end. It may be very difficult, but that one is very expensive to do. So you can look at how expensive it is, and then the vulnerability of opening up yourself to some attacks if you use an open source or an open source platform. Okay. Lastly, I think I'm feeling finished. Eavesdropping and surveillance, unauthorized interceptor information, often covertly. Cyber criminals use rogue Wi-Fi spots to monitor users' online camp. You know, this is what I was telling you about. That you have a software that you are on the network and you have joined the Wi-Fi spot. So anybody who is trying to do something, I can be able to know what the person is doing. Physical security threats that involve physical access to sensitive areas or systems. An unauthorized person tailgating an employee into a secure server room. This one has been happening in UG. When the motorbikers see that we are entering with our cards, security cards, then they'll tailgate us. As soon as you enter, then they also enter. I don't know whether you've experienced that before. Those of you who have been driving through the gates that are blocked, I hope you know that as students, you can actually apply for a card to be given to you for your car. I think you pay only 50 cedis or 100 cedis, something like that. Then you can also have access. So find out about that, and you can be able to get, so you can drive through different ends of the university into the campus. Okay. Lastly, social engineering, manipulating individuals into divulging confidential information and performing specific actions. An attacker posing as an IT technician calls an employee and convinces them to provide their login details or credentials for a system check. This happens all the time. So in today's digital era, the threat landscape is constantly evolving. The new threats may come up, whilst the existing ones grow to become more sophisticated. This is imperative. This makes it imperative for organizations and individuals to be informed and proactive in maintaining robust security measures. So we'll end it here. Next week, we'll start from the malware, then quickly go through the rest of the other ones. So now I did a feature on the malware because that one is the one that you come across a lot. What is a virus? What is a worm? What is a Trojan horse? There are so many of them. What's spyware? What's adware? What's rootkit? What's botnet? What's false malware? And what's a mobile malware? People didn't know that mobile phones can also have a malware. One of them is called Lopi. Then after that, we do the evolution of data security threats, how they began, and then understanding the data lifecycle. So what we'll do is that we'll go through the data lifecycle and then we'll link it to the confidentiality stuff. Which each of them, what are at the generation, what should we look out for? At collection, what should you look out for? At processing, what should you look out for? At storage, what should you look out for? At management, and at analysis and visualization, and then at interpretation, what should you look out for? Okay, so we'll do that quickly next week and wrap up. Thank you very, very much. I hope you enjoyed the class.
Yes, sir, we did.
Yes, we did. Thank you.
So we are finished editing the video and we'll make it available to you last week's own. And this week's
yes.
We are trying to make sure that nobody is being shown in the way that doesn't like. But at least as much as possible, we have done our best. We'll show the best. Okay. Yes.
Please know if we can have at least a tutorial session on some of the practical things you taught today.
Okay, so we'll happen it. I want to teach for 4 weeks, and after the 4 weeks, the last few weeks we'll use that to learn about a lot of things. You see, if I just come and teach you right now how to be able to do it, I'm teaching it out of the just because you are asking for it. I want to teach you with the science behind it. For example, when there's a security, what should we do? And then how do you protect the data? How do you mask the data? So that we can be able to add it to what we are learning. But I don't want to teach it without teaching you the science behind it. So that you can, for example, look at what today we are going through. You have come to understand there are different types of threats. And the more you are understanding, the more you are thinking about how then do I protect myself. But if I came and just teach you how to protect yourself on Chrome, you will not get it. Because you just say that, okay, if you don't want this to happen, you do this on Chrome. But when I taught you, when I came from the threat perspective, you understood what threat could happen, what could be the cost of that threat to you, and then what you should try and do about it as soon as possible. So I'll do that for you, as said. And Obed, let's keep that in mind, that after the 4th week, next week we'll do this one and move into the data protection. So please, everybody, before next week, try and go to the data protection site so they get to know more about them. Or next week, after teaching that, I'll just go through the data protection Act for Ghana, and then we'll discuss it in unison. Then after that, thereafter, we'll learn about other ones from different countries. Then the following week, we spend some time doing tutorials and being able to understand how to address all these issues. Is that okay?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, then. Okay, thank you very, very much. Okay. Obed, is there any announcements?
No, Prof. Well, I think it was about the act, but you've mentioned